Imagine having to answer this question, not with theories, not with documents, not with history, with the facts of this week, with what actually happened in 3 different places, in 3 different countries over the last 4 days. There's no more honest way to understand where an institution stands than to look at what it produces in concrete practice, not official declarations, not press releases. The fruits, those that grow in ordinary, real life, this week in May. By the end of this video, you'll have the clearest answer there is to the true state of the Catholic Church today. Not the one you expect, the real one. 3 news stories, 3 places, 1 conclusion. And in the end, you'll understand why what's happening is scarier than you think. Here's what we know for sure. From May 13th to 17th, 2026, starting next Wednesday for 5 days, the 104th Katholikentag will be held in Würzburg, Bavaria. The German Catholic Days, one of the largest Catholic events in Europe, organized under the patronage of the German Bishops' Conference. From May 14th to 16th, a group calling itself the Ecumenical Working Group on Being Christian with Alternative Practices will be present on the so-called Kirchenmeile, the official avenue of Christian associations. The group offers, and I quote almost verbatim from the official description, information on consensual domination practices from a Christian perspective. For those unfamiliar with the details, these are practices involving physical coercion and pain in a sexual context. It's not a prayer group. It's not a charitable movement. It's a stand on an official avenue of a Catholic Congress under the patronage of the German Bishops' Conference. Today, May 11th, 2026, EWTN Germany reported the official response from the Katholikentag spokesperson to the controversy. There is no contradiction with the catechism. The group had attended previous Katholikentags. The organization readmitted them without hesitation. It is the same catechism that teaches that every human sexual act finds its meaning in conjugal love open to life. That same catechism, applied to these practices, becomes, for the official spokesperson of a German Catholic Congress, fully compatible, without contradictions. It's worth pausing, because the second piece of news comes from Portugal, and the connection to the first isn't immediate, but it exists. On May 8th, 2026, the television program Doa Akem Doer on Correio da Manhã, one of the main Portuguese newspapers, revealed the existence of clandestine meetings of an immoral nature in the Diocese of Porto. Meetings were arranged via dating apps, with locations agreed upon via WhatsApp. They took place in motels and parish houses. The witness, identified as Joaquim, attended several of these meetings and later filed a formal complaint with the Portuguese judicial police. He described evenings that lasted until dawn, with alcohol and other substances consumed. He named names. He provided details. Participants could arrive anonymously. Many priests arrive masked, Joaquim told reporters at Correio da Manhã, but during the night they remove their masks. One of the intercepted messages, written in English on the app, reads, "I can't send photos right now. I have to celebrate the Eucharist." The complaint has been filed. The judicial police investigation is ongoing. The Diocese of Porto has not yet released an official statement. Reread that sentence. The Diocese of Porto hasn't said a single word yet. Not a denial, not a canonical investigation. Silence. The third piece of news comes from Italy. Since May 1st, 2026, Father Dino Rampazzo, a priest of the Diocese of Vicenza, a former carabiniere before his ordainment, has initiated a series of so-called traveling Eucharists in the neighborhoods of Valdagno. On May 1st, He celebrated Mass outside Bar Grumo. More than 80 people attended. The service concluded with complimentary drinks from the bar. Don Rampazzo responded to the critics with a rhetorical question: "Isn't God where people are?" The initiative was picked up by De Gospia and numerous Catholic media outlets. It was presented as a creative response to empty churches, a way to reach those outside of traditional places of worship. A former carabinier celebrating Mass on the sidewalk in front of a bar, with the closing ceremony entrusted to the locals' glasses. So much for the facts, but there's a deeper question. An official Catholic Congress that hosts practices of physical domination and declares that they do not contradict the Catechism. Priests organizing clandestine meetings in parish houses via apps anonymously until dawn. A priest celebrating Mass at a bar and offering drinks afterward. 3 news stories, 3 countries, 1 week. No newspaper has listed them. Here lies the paradox that no one wants to mention. These are not 3 separate scandals. They are 3 manifestations of the same crisis. A crisis that starts from the top, from doctrine being negotiated, from catechisms being reinterpreted, descends through ordained ministers who have lost the sense of their mission, and reaches the liturgy itself, which is emptied of sacredness and transformed into neighborhood entertainment. It's not a random progression, it's a system. When the institution says that sadomasochism doesn't contradict the catechism, it's sending a signal, perhaps unintentional but real, to everything else. When the Mass becomes a traveling Eucharist with an aperitif, it's not an isolated coincidence. It's the fruit of decades of teaching that the sacred adapts to the world, and not the other way around. Saint Pius X wrote in the encyclical Pascendi of 1907 that modernism does not attack the Church from the outside, it corrodes it from within, through those who occupy positions of responsibility and use Catholic language to empty Catholic content. And here comes the uncomfortable question. Who produced this? Not the faithful, not the lay people who remained in the Church. Who trained these priests? Who approved these programs? Who signed the permit for the BDSM group to participate in the Catholic Congress? And who defined that choice as not in contradiction with the Catechism? The answer is always the same. It is the institutional structures, seminaries, episcopal conferences, diocesan curias that for decades have trained, selected, promoted, and protected these fruits. Not by chance, by systematic, though rarely declared, choice. And that same structure today remains silent, or downplays, or releases statements that sound like justifications. The real state of the Catholic Church in 2026 is not that of the official statements. It is that of the 3 news items we've just discussed. It is not an imagined crisis. This is not a partisan narrative. It is documented, verified, and published by secular and Catholic newspapers in 3 different countries. The answer to the question I didn't explicitly ask at the beginning is this: no, it's not normal. It never was normal. And the fact that it seems normal, the fact that this news is coming out and being absorbed without institutional reaction, is the most worrying part of all. What we are witnessing is a crisis of men who have stopped believing in what they profess. The answer is not panic, it is fidelity to tradition, to doctrine, to the liturgy that for 2,000 years has formed saints, not scandals. What do you think? If you liked the video, comment Amen. God bless you.